All right, let's take a look at the new report, License Expense Management. Now, this report will show you everything about your Salesforce licenses. On the first screen, you have a selected group of users, and if you click on any user, you'll see the licenses that that user has. The 4 different types of licenses are over here at right. There's the org license, permission set licenses, package licenses, and feature licenses. If you change any license, the Save Assignments button will activate, and you click it and you can make that assignment. So this is a very quick way to see all of your different user licenses and make new assignments. You can also click on these radio buttons and drill into the details of one of the different 4 licenses. So for example, for feature licenses, if I click on a feature license, I'll see all of the users that are associated with that feature license. And I can do that for any of the 4 license types. If I want to select a new group of users, just click this button up here at upper left, and this is our standard user selection dialog. And you can select users in many, many different ways. All right, on the next tab, I have a bunch of useful reports that show you things about your licenses. The first 4 are just a breakdown of the information, the used licenses, and the remaining licenses for each of the 4 license types. The next licenses show the cost and usage of each license type. For example, here's feature licenses. And you can see here in the white area, I have the usage charted for each selected user and each active feature license. Below that, I have all kinds of cost information. So for example, this line shows the total number of feature licenses of each type. This line shows the unit cost, that you can change this number if you want. This is the total cost, which is just the unit cost times the number of licenses. And then we break usage into high, medium, and low. So this is the count of high, medium, and low users in each column. And under that is the high, medium, and low cost of each license. So for example, if you have low usage for a particular license, you'll see this line here telling you that you've got $100 that maybe you could save in this example. You can change all of these things, the usage statistics and the cost, with a right click and bring up the Manage Expense dialog. And so, for example, here in this case, my feature licenses, I've given them a cost of 100. I could change that to 150, or I could go into a particular license, like say a marketing user, and make that 300, whatever the real cost is there that you want to work with. You can also have usage information based on the number of logins or the number of created records for any record type. And you can also roll this information up. So if you put the information here on the marketing user, it will only apply to the marketing user. If you put it on the feature, it'll apply to any of the features. And if you put it on all licenses, it will apply to all licenses. And as you can see, by default, we mark all licenses to count the number of logins for usage. So that's a very basic usage statistic. If you have a better statistic, you can create that using the menus here below. And so now we can see that my marketing user has the 300 cost for a fixed cost, and the other feature licenses have the 150 cost, and all of that is calculated by their usage. And you see again the low usage warning here at bottom. This is money that potentially could be saved. All right, so we construct this graph for features, for packages, for your entire org and all your org licenses, and for each permission set license. If you don't have cost information or you don't have usage information, then the table will change accordingly. So here, permission sets don't have cost. We could go add that really quickly, whatever the cost is for those permission set licenses. And so that might be things like a license to Health Cloud, a license to Financial Force, or something like that. And you can enter the cost right here, and it'll then fill out the table and do the math. And then the last one here is the combined expense of all of these things. So this is really a mission critical table here that you can really see all of your license expense, all of wasted money based on these usage statistics. And you can probably make some actionable decisions here about how to control cost or better allocate your licenses. All right, so the next section of these reports really deals with license permissions versus permission set permissions. So for example, the combined licenses report will show you all of the combined licenses, combining the profile plus all of the permission set licenses to give you a final permission for each one of these license types and each users. So this is a very interesting graph. It shows you the true license permissions of your user base. Now you can also see your permission set permissions. So this is like our combined security report. This is the profile permissions plus any permission sets that have given you the final user permissions available here at top. And you can also view these with labels, makes it a little bit more readable. The last report here is the combined differences report. And what this does is it shows you all of the permissions from licenses versus all of the permissions from permission sets. And we can get some very interesting information from this. So for example, we can see that this user needs a license for Access Experience Management. So he has the permission, but he doesn't have a license. What's up with that? We can look a little farther and we can see there's other cases where, let's collapse all of the empty columns here. There's other cases where this user has the license for Campaign Influence, but he doesn't have the permission. So let's drill into why that's happening. And you can do that by selecting this user and getting the total breakdown on their permission set licenses and their permission set permissions. So here we go, and we can now see for each one of these cases, for Access Experience Management, this user needs a license, and here's why. He got the permission from this permission marketing clone, but he doesn't have the license. Now we see he needs a permission over here for Campaign Influence. Why is that? Well, he has the license for CRM user, but none of his permission sets nor his profile give him that permission. So this shows the imbalance in permissions between licenses and permissions, and ideally you would want all of these things to probably be the same. And so this table really lets you drill down and figure that out and make sure that your users have the permissions to do the things that they have the licenses for and the licenses to do the things that they have the permissions for. As usual, you can select any of these reports here with the checkboxes, and our Display Report tab will break all of that information down for you. Lastly, you can of course schedule all of these reports and have them sent to admins. All right, this is a great new report, License Expense Management.